the vast, unforgiving ocean. For centuries, it has been humanity's greatest highway, but it's also a graveyard for secrets. You've heard of the Titanic, a name synonymous with tragedy. But what if I told you that its story is just one chapter in a much larger, darker history? The most catastrophic shipwrecks in history aren't the ones you know. Some claimed 4, 5, even 6 times as many lives, yet hardly anyone talks about them. Today, we count down the 10 deadliest ship disasters, revealing stories of chaos, courage, and catastrophic failure that have been lost to the waves. Prepare yourself, because what you're about to hear will change the way you see the sea forever. Kicking off our list at number 10 is the SS Eastland. Imagine this. It's a beautiful summer morning in 1915. Chicago families are boarding a ship for a company picnic, laughing and waving from the decks. But the Eastland never even left the dock. Overloaded and unstable, it slowly rolled onto its side in the Chicago River in a matter of minutes. A scene of celebration turned into one of utter horror. Over 844 people, many of them women and children, were trapped and drowned just feet from the shore. It was a tragedy born not from an iceberg or a storm, but from simple, fatal negligence. Coming in at number 9, we journey to the Baltic Sea during the final, desperate days of World War II. The SS Cap Arcona, a luxury liner, was packed with thousands of concentration camp prisoners. In a tragic case of mistaken identity, British fighter planes, believing it was a German troopship, opened fire. The ship was engulfed in flames, and those who jumped into the freezing water were shot at from the air. It was a hellish scene. More than 4,500 people perished in one of the most horrific friendly fire incidents in history, a grim reminder of the chaos of war. At number 8, we have the RMS Lancastria. In 1940, during the evacuation of British troops from France, this civilian ocean liner was given a mission: rescue as many soldiers and refugees as possible. The ship was dangerously overcrowded, with an estimated 4,000 to 9,000 people on board. Then, German bombers appeared in the sky. Direct hits sent the Lancastria to the bottom in less than 20 minutes. The death toll was catastrophic, greater than the Titanic and Lusitania combined. Winston Churchill suppressed news of the sinking to protect national morale, and for decades, this immense tragedy remained a state secret. Number 7 takes us to the coast of Senegal in 2002 with the sinking of the MV La Jula. This was no ancient vessel, it was a modern ferry, designed to carry 580 people. It set sail with nearly 2,000 passengers, many of them students returning for school. Caught in a sudden storm, the overloaded ferry capsized in just 5 minutes. The rescue effort was tragically slow, and by the time help arrived it was too late. Over 1,863 people died. It remains one of the worst maritime disasters of the 21st century, a shocking story of corruption and neglect. And we're not even halfway through the list. Number 5, in particular, involves a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. For number 6, we return to the chaos of World War II and the sinking of the Goya. In April 1945, this transport ship was part of Operation Hannibal, a massive German effort to evacuate civilians and soldiers from the path of the advancing Red Army. Crammed with over 6,000 refugees, the Goya was a beacon of hope in a sea of despair, but that hope was extinguished when a Soviet submarine torpedoed it. The ship sank in under 7 minutes in the icy Baltic. Only 183 people survived. The sheer speed of the sinking left thousands with no chance of escape. Now for number 5, the SS Kyungya in 1948. As civil war raged in China, thousands of refugees crowded onto this steamship in Shanghai, desperate to flee. The official passenger count was just over 2,100. But it's believed nearly 4,000 were actually aboard as it sailed down the Huangpu River. A massive explosion tore the ship apart. The cause? It likely struck a mine left over from World War II. The blast was instantaneous and devastating. In the chaos and darkness, between 2,700 and 3,900 people lost their lives, making it a largely forgotten but truly immense tragedy. Entering our top 4 at number 4 is a ship with a chilling story. The Toyama. This Japanese train ferry was considered state-of-the-art in 1954, even designed to withstand typhoons. But when Typhoon Marie struck, it proved more powerful than anyone imagined. The captain, confident in his ship, decided to wait out the storm in the harbor, but a fatal design flaw allowed waves to flood the vehicle deck, causing the ferry to capsize and sink. Over 1,150 people died, not in the open ocean, but within sight of land, betrayed by a ship they thought was unsinkable. We are now in the top 3, where the scale of loss is almost incomprehensible. At number 3, it's the iconic ship of tragedy, the RMS Titanic. You know the story, the unsinkable marvel, the iceberg, the insufficient lifeboats. On its maiden voyage in 1912, it struck ice and sank into the frigid North Atlantic. More than 1,500 souls were lost. While its death toll isn't the highest on our list, the Titanic's story captured the world's imagination. It became a symbol of human hubris and a catalyst for sweeping changes in maritime safety regulations that are still in effect today. But here's the twist. The disaster at number 2 is one you've likely never heard of, yet it claimed over 4 times as many lives as the Titanic. In 1987, the passenger ferry MV Dona Paz collided with an oil tanker in the Philippines. The tanker was carrying 8,800 barrels of gasoline, which ignited instantly, creating a sea of fire. Trapped between the inferno and shark-infested waters, the passengers had no escape. The official manifest listed 1,500 people, but the ferry was horribly overcrowded. The final death toll is estimated to be over 4,386 people, making it the deadliest peacetime maritime disaster in history, and now, the #1 deadliest ship disaster of all time. We go back to January 1945, to the Baltic Sea. The MV Wilhelm Gustloff, a former cruise ship, was tasked with evacuating German civilians and military personnel. From negligence in a quiet river to the unimaginable horrors of war at sea, each of these stories is a monument to lives lost and lessons learned. They remind us that beneath the surface of the ocean lies a history far deeper and darker than most of us could ever imagine. Which one of these stories shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you found this journey into history compelling, be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shape our world.